Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to White Fortress Cybersecurity. In today's class, we will be exploiting SQL injection. In the last class, we covered what is SQL injection, and we got to know there are types of SQL injection: error-based SQL injection, union-based SQL injection, time-based SQL injection, Boolean-based SQL injection. These are four main types of SQL injection. So how do you generate, like find out if a site is vulnerable to SQL injection or not? So first step is to generate an error using apostrophe or double inverted comma. Then you'll have to balance the equation or like let's see in the practical as well. Then finding number of columns, then finding the vulnerable columns, then finding the database name, table name in the specific database, then the column name. Very good evening, Pavani. Welcome back to the channel. So let's see. Okay, I have started my attack box today. You can also use your Kali if there is an IP given in here. Okay, so here you can see this is how your parameter should look like. Okay, I told you about SQL injection top 25 parameters where these kind of vulnerabilities are available. Okay, so where should you look for it? That's what I told you. You can use the top 25 parameters from the GitHub, and here you have it. RCE SQL injection. Okay, on the ID parameter, on the page parameter, directory, search, category, file, class, URL, news, item, menu. These are the top parameters where you can find SQL injection like vulnerability. Now, here you can see this has started. Okay, let's adjust it, or you can just open it full screen mode on the next page. Okay, it's gonna take a while. It's not showing here. Advanced SQL injection is what we are doing. So we already know SQL injection is a web application vulnerability. We can use SQL queries that we studied yesterday to find out this specific vulnerability. Okay, so uh, this is how your parameter will look like. And what you can do, you can use the select statements, queries from like you can just use those queries to extract the data. So from the URL above, you can see that the blog entry select comes from the ID parameter in the query string. The web application needs to retrieve the article from the database and may use SQL statement that looks something like following. Okay, this is what is in the backend. Okay, select all from blog where ID equal to success. Okay, this is how it looks in the backend. And then this is what here you can see, and private equal to 0. Private equal to 0 means it has made all the things of the database private. Okay, why? For the security purposes, for so that no one can see it on the front end. So what we do, we can first of all generate an error by putting an apostrophe, and then we can minus minus is for commenting out, right? We can use minus minus for commenting out, and plus is used for your spacing. So that's what we are going to do. And also this thing, your this is used for termination. Your semicolon is used for terminating the SQL query. Okay, so what we can do, from what you have learned in the previous task, you should be able to work with the SQL statements. Okay, in the last class, we covered all the statements like select statement, union statement, and your update statement, insert statement. This was union, delete statement. So that's what we are going to use today. So here we are. From above, looking in the block table for an article with the ID number of 1 and the private column is set to 0, which means it's able to be viewed by the public, and mm, uh, and limits the result only to one match. As was mentioned at the start of this task, SQL injection is introduced when a user input is introduced into the database query, and let's pretend article id 2 is logged as private. Okay, like this is the query, and private equal to 0 or something, so it cannot be viewed on the website. So we could instead call this url. What we can do, we can terminate the query already, and we can put hyphen hyphen to comment out all the further query in here. So here I'm gonna, first of all, here this is how it looks like. Okay, I'm not able to increase the screen size, so I can minimize it instead here. And I'm going to use the magnifier for the better view. Here, error-based SQL injection. So that means we have to generate an error. Okay, and this is how the page looks like. Hi, welcome to my very first article of my new website, and this is the query that is working behind. Select from article where ID is 1. Okay, and what is the user Martin's password? This is what you have to do, or whatever. So I'm going to hit enter, and here you can see we have received an error. Okay, on the real website as well, you will see some kind of error, or your page will get modified. Very good evening, Louise. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And thank you so much for so many likes. Okay, so the syntax error or access violation, you will see some SQL error, or your page will be changed. I told you, whenever when an error is generated, either the page content will change, or you will be able to see some kind of error like this, or there might be a pop-up error. Okay, there can be anything, or the content of the complete page will be gone. Okay, that's what you will be seeing, or some text like um, whatever. So let's just, I have generated an error. Okay, so what character signifies the end of the SQL query? This is one question. Tell me, what is the, what does it represent? Like, signifies the end of the SQL query. This is a very easy question. Tell me, guys, what signifies the end of a SQL query? In the last class, we studied many queries, select query, union query. But at the end of every query, yes, Pavani, you're correct. We just have to input semicolon and then unauthorized. Why does it show unauthorized? Huh? I've seen this error for the first time. You're correct, Pavani. It's the end of SQL query, but I'm not sure why it is. This is the first time I'm facing this error, unauthorized, in the try hack me. I think I'll have to reload the page. Yeah, even I'm seeing it for the first time. Okay, it's the correct answer, but I'll just check this error later. Now let's move on to the next question. In-band SQL injection. So in-band SQL injection, we have got error-based and union-based. So to find the union-based, what you have to do is, let me show you with an example. Here, I like now you'll have to balance the equation first of all. Okay, you can use some stuff like this. So here I have inputted this colon, enter, and it should get balanced somehow. Okay, or minus minus plus I'm gonna use. So it will end up showing me the same result. Okay, it's not working the same way how it works in the real websites. Uh, Trust me, guys, like what we see in the labs, that's a bit different than what we actually do on the websites. So in web application pen testing, I suggest that you basically do it on the real websites more, because with the labs you might get the basic idea of it, but you won't be able to get the actual things. Okay, actually how it is done on the sites. So in in-band, SQL injection is the easiest type to detect. Okay, error-based and union-based are very easy. Even the Boolean-based and your others are also very easy to detect on a site. I will tell you how. In-band just refers to the same method of communication being used to exploit the vulnerability and also receive the results from, for example, discovering a SQL injection vulnerability on a website. So one is error-based, like obtaining some error message or information that is on error based. I've already told you the content will change or whatsoever. In union based, this type of injection utilizes SQL union operator alongside a select statement return additional result to the page. This method is most common way to extract large amount of data via SQL injection vulnerability. Practical, for practical we have to start it, then we have to uh, in each level contains a mock browser, and error boxes assist you with the queries payload correct or not. And the level 1 practice lab contains a mock browser, and which can be accessed by changing the ID number in the query string. So what we have to do, the key for discovering the error based is to put a quotation mark or apostrophe, and try apostrophe. I've already tried apostrophe and we have got it. Now we can exploit the vulnerability and use the error message. So it is saying that I used union select statement. So let's do this thing, union select one. Hit enter. Here you can see the error has changed. Okay, what does this error say now? Violation, the used select statement have different number of column. Okay, union select one. If I have put one, means I'm saying in the backend there are one number of column. Okay, now I'm gonna try 100. So 100, there are not 100 number of columns either. So I'm gonna try 10. So there are not 10 number of columns either. Okay, so you'll have to try the number of columns. Okay, this was using order by, my bad. But so I'm gonna put like 1, 2, 3, something like this. Enter. Okay. When I put 2, nothing. But when I put 3, then it is giving me my article back. So I'm gonna go like 1, comma 2, comma 3. I have to keep doing in the union select. But we have another statement on the real website. What we do, we use order by. Okay, after putting order by, it will just tell us that how many number of columns are there. If I put 100, no, like there are no 100 number of columns. If I go like 10 and there are 11 number of columns, then it will be showing us the page. Okay, but only if I put 11, it will still showing us the page. But as soon as I put the 12 number, it will give us an error that 12 number of columns are not present. Okay, that's how it is on the real websites. So here it is telling us to use the union select statement, which is used for finding out the union based problems, union based SQL injection. So here you can see we have got the 3. If I put 4, comma 4, here you can see again this error is being shown over here. So there are total 3 number of columns going on in the backend. Now next step is such the error is gone, but now we have to display. So now I want to know that which column is actually vulnerable. Okay, so I'm just changing the ID to 0. Here you can see 2, 2 and 3 are the vulnerable columns. Okay, here in the real websites also, it shows the number of columns that are vulnerable, like this 2 or 3 are vulnerable or whatever. Okay, so this was the next step. Now, what we can do on these vulnerable columns, we can put the queries like I want to know what is the database going on in the backend. So I will put this query database and then bracket open, bracket close. Okay, now it's telling us this is the database that is going on in the backend. If I put version, okay, it will tell me the what is the version of the database that is going on in the background. And there are many more queries like these. So SQL I1 was the version, oh sorry, was the database that is going on in the backend. Okay, so now what is the next step? Okay, this is how it actually occurs on the real websites as well. Here I'm going to put the database only for the time being because this was our database name. Now, next step is it is saying that you'll have to put this one. Okay, on the third one, third is vulnerable column, two is also vulnerable column. In any of the place of those, I'll have to put this group concat, then table name from information schema dot tables where table schema is equals to SQL1. So what does this statement mean? This statement means here it is. There are a couple of new things. Firstly, group concat. Okay, group concat gets the specified number of column. In our case, table name from multiple return rows and puts it into the one string separated by the comma. What it will do? Group concat basically brings the content from the table name or whatsoever. So it will just simply put all the content together. That's what it has to do. So where is it bringing from? It's bringing it from information schema dot table. So what does it mean? If the next is your information schema database, every user of the database has access to this. Okay, this is a by default database usually. Okay, if you see, you're seeing this, if I use some other query, so there are some by default databases like information schema, SQLi, or something like that. But there will be some new kind of databases name like White Fortress, like some other name, some different name. Okay, so or something like Indeed or some guest user, anything like that. That is very new. That cannot be present by default on a specific server. Okay, so every user of the database has the access to this and it contains the information about all the databases and tables user has access to. In this particular query, we are interested in listing all the tables in the SQL1 database. So we are interested in this thing for listing all the table names from the SQL1. So let's use this one. Okay, so let's try it. I'm going to just simply copy it for now instead of typing it whole. So you can also remember it because these are very useful. So what we are doing, we are group concatenating, means no matter how many databases there are, we want all the table name from all the databases that are present. And then from the information schema, the by default database and table, we are asking for tables where table schema is your SQLi1. Okay, from that specific database we have asked for it, and here we have the table names, article comma staff users. These are the two tables that are present in that SQL1 database. Okay, we can also do it similar way on the regular websites as well. It has got a little bit of changes, and of course we can use the hack bar for generating these statements. Okay, I usually use hack bar for generating these statements because it makes my work really very easy. Okay, now at the first level aims to discover the Martin's password. What we want is Martin's password. So we have got the table name. Now what do we want? We need the number of columns, the columns that are present in this specific table. Okay, this is a table. Okay, let's just type it in our. So what we did, first of all, we generated an error. So we got an SQL error. Right. Next step was to find the number of columns. Then we use union select for finding the number of columns. We went like this was the query 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 till we found the actual number of columns. Then we found the vulnerable number of column by changing the ID number from 1 to 0. Then we found the database name by using another query that started with, by using that vulnerable column, we just inputted database, this query, and we found the database name. And what was the database name? SQLi 1. Okay, this is the database name. Next, we found the tables in that SQL SQLi 1 database. So, what was the table name? It was something like articles or user, yes, staff users. Okay, articles and staff users. We found these tables in that specific database. Now, which one is very important to us? Okay, this is not important. Articles are not important to us. What we want is the some real data, some confidential data like staff user table. We can get that from staff user table. So in actual websites, you will be able to see multiple tables, and in those like there will be some user table, there will be some student table, like there are so many tables. So from there, you'll have to select which table will give you the most information, most crucial information. So here I have chosen staff users. So I will just simply have to now, previously we selected table, table name, table schema, all this. Now we will switch these tables from tables to what do we call it, columns. Okay, so what we can do, here is another one. Now group concat previously was table name, now we want the column name. From information schema dot tables, it was previously tables, now columns. And where table name, what it was previously, it was table schema. Table schema means the database, and now we will change it to table name, because we are asking for the data from the table name instead of the schema database. So here we are changing that query. So here I'll just make it a quick one. Here I'll change it to column, column, and here also column, and table schema to table name. And what is the table name? This is the table name, staff users. Now I'm going to hit enter. Now it will give us the um, information from that specific table. Okay, let me check it. Columns from information schema dot columns. Okay, here we are, and here you can see these are the columns that are present in that specific table. Okay, we got ID, username, password. So from the tables in the database, we found these two tables, article, staff user. And what were the specific columns? The specific columns were your ID, username, and their passwords. Okay, on the real websites too, guys, that is the data what we actually find. Okay, I cannot show it on YouTube, but it's this similar way. And guys, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now we will need to find the data from these columns. Okay, I want all the data from these columns. How do I do that? Here you can see we can simply uh, again group concat and username, password, from which table? From staff users. Okay, so here I'm gonna use this one, group concat, staff users and everything. I'm gonna put this query here. Okay, even here I'm just asking for username, password separated by a colon. Also, if I want the ID, I can also type ID, then comma, colon, in single inverted comma. Okay, you can use anything. Okay, I'm using colon here, colon, or you can also use comma instead of these colon. If you do not put these columns, what will happen? They will There will be no spacing between them. Okay, so here you can see also there is a separator so that different tables are different rows are listed on different lines. BR means different lines. Okay, I'm gonna hit enter. Let's see. Okay, I forgot to put comma here. Here we have one ID is 123. This is the ID. Then you have the password, and this is the actual password that is stored in the database. Okay, and on the real websites also you can find it similar way. I hope it is clear to you. And if you're not able to find it on, like if it is, you feel this is difficult to find it on the real websites, you can try using the hack bar. Okay, on the Cyberfox, I told you that we have it in here. It's taking a while to open up. Okay, let me show you. So, so for example, this is our URL. I by mistake closed it. Yeah, I'm gonna take this. Okay, I'm gonna just copy it and take it to the Cyberfox. Here I'm putting it here. Okay, so what you can do, you can simply put the error, then execute the command. Also, you can help in generating union statement can be generated from here. Okay, here I want to generate, like for example, 3. So it generated it for me. Union select. Sometimes there are like so many columns. Like till now, I have seen 50 columns. Okay. And there can be up to 120 columns at least. Okay. Sir has seen at least 120 columns. So instead of like doing it again and again and again, you can use the union statement. And similar for the database, it will also generate the statement for the database. It will also generate, let me show you, it will also generate it for the tables. Okay, you just have to put the database name. Here I'm providing the database name, for example, SQLi 1, that was the database. I hit OK. Here you can see it has generated group concat, select group concat from information schema tables, where table schema is equals to this. And this has been encoded. Okay, I can decode it. Just a minute. What was it? It was hex encoding, my bad. Okay, it was not base 64 encoding, it was hex encoding. Okay, here you can see SQL 1 is written over here. Okay, I can again encode it like this. So, okay, I don't know why it says unauthorized still. So, are there any question? Let's see. Okay, we need the flag after completing the level 1. We already saw what is the password of Martin. We just have to now input that password and we will get the flag and we will get the account access. So this SQL injection, what it can do, it will help us get the database information and we can also find the login information. Then ultimately we can log in as the users that are already present in that system. Okay, so it is a very, very big vulnerability, very impactful vulnerability, and it also comes under OWASP top 10 in the command injection. And guys, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, any doubts, you can let me know right here in the chat box. Okay, now we are just, I'm gonna just put this again here. Control C. Is there anything wrong? Yeah, union. Select 1 comma 2 comma. Okay. So this is the Martin's password. I'm going to copy it and put it here. Check password. Okay, here we got the flag. Let's copy this flag and now put it here. Why does it say unauthorized? I don't know. Okay, I think I'll have to reload the page one more time or re-log in one more time. So I'll do that later. Okay, but we got the flag. It's okay. It's some problem in my account only. Okay, next is your blind SQL injection. Okay, this is one more. So time-based SQL injection is already also a blind one. What is the flag after completing two? Okay, so let me tell you about these. Error based, you found it after applying the error. Okay, union based, you are using union select statement just like we did right now. That was union based. In time based, what we are able to do, we are able to just put select, like what we do, we are doing, um, sorry, there is a vulnerable website. So if I'm putting sleep and I go like this, sleep 5, and then I hit enter, then what will happen? The page will take, like, the request will be hold for the 5 seconds. Okay, if I put it like 5,000, what will happen? The server will be processing it for these many seconds. My request only will be processed for these many seconds by the server. That means that's like in the DOS attack. Denial of service attack means it is not able to access or work upon any other request. Next is your boolean based. So what is happening, what happens in the boolean based? So there is something like id equal to 1, and here I put and 1 equal to 1, it's going fine. Okay, if I put 1 equal to 1, it's going fine. If I put 1 equal to 2, that is a false statement. So the page is showing an error, means it is responding to my um, whatever I'm telling it. So it is responding to it. The page gets failed to load. Or, and if I put true, it is loading properly. But if I put false, that means, and it will go like page will not get loaded and it will show some error. So that is your boolean based SQL injection. Okay, so that's what is here also. And there are some authentication based also. Let's do it. So this is another most of the most straightforward blind SQL. Why do we call it blind SQL injection? Because here we are not able to see anything. We are not able to see any kind of data or something like that. It is happening. We know it is happening in the backend, but we are not able to see any kind of results. So that's why this is your blind SQL injection. Technique is bypassing the authentication methods such as login forms in instance. Okay, this is another thing. Login forms are connected to a database of users are often developed in such a way the web application isn't interested in the content of the username and password, but more in whether the two make a matching pair in the user table. In basic terms, the web application is asking the database, do you have a user with a username Bob? So what we can do, we can also ask the statements. Like I told you here, if I say and false, it is not loading. But if I put true, it is loading. So what I can do, I can ask it by one. Do you have some username something like Bob? So it goes like yes, no, whatsoever. So that is how it happens in the back boolean based, and also in the time based. Okay, I can also give it query like and if username equal to Bob, then sleep for 5 seconds. If it is not Bob, it will load normally. Okay, something like that. We can also ask the server about all these things. So practical part is here. Select all from users where username is this and password is something like this, and let's try it on your own, on our own. Okay, this is what is happening in the backend, I guess. Yes. Uh, Now we can just input this thing. Okay, we are asking it 1 equal to 1. If I go like 1 equal to 1, it should be loading properly. If I put 1 equal to 2, there should be some kind of problem. It's not working like that. Let's see. Select from the username. I haven't done it in the lab, so I have no clue right now. Let's read it then. Shows the exact, we see the box label and the query of the database is following. Select all from, okay, this is how it is in the backend. To make the parent query, we can enter the following in the password field. Okay, let's put it in the password field, login. Fine, it's done. You bypass the level, now move to the level 3. Next level, you bypass the login. Okay. So because 1 equal to 1 is true. Okay. So what happened? There was a login form. Okay. That was for the login bypass. It was different one. So what I did, I inputted this thing 1 equal to 1. That means statement is true. Right. So it will let me pass the password. That means it is say telling the database that the password is correct. 1 equal to 1 is true. So that's why the server is thinking that it was correct. Okay, so we can just copy uh, the here from here we can copy our next answer. Now next one is your true thing. Okay, username equal to admin true. Let's put the flag here also. This was the flag, and it's again going like unauthorized. It's okay. Boolean. Now next is so here we'll have to ask one by one stuff like this where database like S% or something or not. Let's try it. So first of all, we have to generate an error. Not anything. Nothing is there. Taken true. If I put it to I, it's yeah, it's here you can see. It's saying taken true. If I put the correct thing, it will say taken true. But if I put the wrong thing, it will say taken false. Okay, union select 1, 2, 3. So what actually happens on the real websites? If false, then it will show an error. If true, the site will load normally. Okay, so here if I put it like S, I'll have to try one by one A, B, C, D. So for that we have an automated tool as well. We can use SQL map for automation of your blind SQL injections. Here I have put S. So it says taken true. Now for the second letter, let's see if it starts with something like A. Let's try A. So it's false. Does it start with the Q? After this means second letter is Q. Let's try Q. It says it's true. Okay, let's try another letter. Um, Another letter is, for example, let's start with A again. Then it says false. Means third letter is not A. Let's try L. Hit enter. It says true. Okay, and so on. So that's how we can actually ask for the data in your uh, website having a blind SQL, Boolean based SQL injection vulnerability. So for this thing, we can simply use the automated tool like SQL Map. It is very easy to use. Okay, and it brings out the content really quick. Okay, we will be able to get the data and everything out of it. It's very easy to use. In next class, we will be studying that only. Okay, so that is how one by one you can try putting it, and then we can go like for if we got the table name, this thing table schema means we got the username, then we can look for the table name, then after looking for the table name we can go for the column name one by one. So that is how it actually happens, but we will use the, what do we call it, SQL map for it. We cannot waste so much time in finding out this one. Okay, next is your time based. So I'm gonna just skip it. Like, I'm gonna copy the last one. I think I'll have to find the password one by one because there is no other option right now. I have to like type one by one EFG. Okay. From the username is admin and password is like, what is the password? G H. Cycling through all the characters, you'll discover password is okay. This is the password 345. Okay, it was not in letters, it was in number 3. Let's try 3. It says true. Okay, and next is your 4 5 3 8 4 5. Okay, let's just put the username directly admin and password is 3845. I'm gonna hit enter, and here we got the next flag. Okay, it was the answer. Now next is a time based. Okay, we can tell it to sleep for 5 seconds, and we can also find out the database name using it. Like union select sleep for 5 seconds, where database something like you person something like this. Okay, so let's try it. I'm gonna hit enter. So time request 4 seconds. Okay, if I put some other character like A, I hit enter. It's 0.0001 second. Okay, it's not sleeping. Means this is wrong. But if I put U, it is taking more time. Okay, it was U, right? Yeah, U%. It should have taken more time. Where database something like U percent. Why is it not working now? I'm gonna copy it again. It's showing 0.00. I think it's not. Yeah, it's not. Let's put CS and hit enter. Is there something like this? No. No. Okay, if it's taking F5 seconds. Okay, it has starting with S. Let's try Q. Okay, it's correct. If I put anything other than Q, like A, it's going like 0.001 second. Means I'm on the right track. So what is the database name? SQL. Let's try L as well. Okay, it's taking 5 seconds again. Means L is also correct. Let's try put A I. This is also correct. I hit enter. It's taking 5 seconds. Means we're correct. If I put something else, like instead of I'm putting A, hit enter. It's not taking that much time. So it is sleeping for 5 seconds. If database is something like this, then sleep for 5 seconds. Otherwise, it will load on the usual time. So that's it for today. Uh, Next is your out of band. Okay, let's study this theory part as well. Now we know the practical part, and we have covered all the main four types. Error based, union based, time based, and boolean based. Sir, can you delete this one? Garia, welcome to the channel, and I really want you guys to be very respectful and mannered. Block this person. I cannot tolerate any nonsense like this again in my class. Okay, so out of band SQL injection isn't as common as it either depends on the specific features being enabled on the database server, on the web application's business logic, which makes some kind of external network called based on the results for the SQL query. I'm gonna just close it. So it depends on the some kind of business logic that is going on in the backend. Like for example, an outbound attack is classified by having two different communication channel. One launch the attack and other gather the results. Like here you can see hacker goes to the website database and the database is bringing all the stuff back to the attacker and outbound classified by having. But main ones that we actually find are the inbound or blind SQL injections on the real websites, which makes some kind of external network based on results from SQL query. An outbound attack is classified by having two different communication channel, one to launch the attack and other to gather the result. For example, the attack channel could be a web request, data gathering channel could be monitoring HTTP and DNS requests to make a service you control. uh, an attacker makes a request to the website when to SQL injection with an injection payload, and the website makes SQL query to the database, which also passes the hacker's payload. So what is happening? The website is makes SQL query to the database, also passing the hacker's payload, and the payload contains a request that forces HTTP request back to the hacker's machine containing the data from the database. So it's something different. It has got like payload. Okay, previously we were using only some queries, SQL queries onto the vulnerable website that was asking for the data from the website back to the attacker. Okay, it was going like this: attacker to the website to the database, and the database is returning the content to the website, not to the attacker previously. Okay, it was inbound because it was in the reach of website only. But here what is happening? The attacker is sending a payload, not SQL queries, but a payload to the database, and it is then sending back the what do we call it? Okay, I've got some question. Hello, ma'am. It's me, Sito Chitika. Hello, Sito. Welcome back to the channel. Ma'am, is this free one in THM? Yes, this is free of cost, Bhagya. And I only do free rooms, guys, because I know that many of you do not have Try Hack Me paid rooms. So I want you guys to practice all these rooms on your own as well. So you can do any of the videos that I'm making for free. Ma'am suggests some real web where we can practice. I told you you'll have to find it on your own. In the last class also, I told you that you can simply use some Google Docs like site. I am putting something like, and okay, no hate to anyone, just an example. Okay, you can put something like dot Nepal or dot co dot UK for United Kingdoms. Okay, so and after this in URL question mark id equal to for finding the parameter. Also here I'm putting the PHP because mostly databases are using PHP for connecting the backend and the front end. So I hit enter, and now here you will be seeing the websites having id equal to. Okay, not on the co.uk, I cannot find many. Okay, here this one. This one has got something like ID equal to. Okay, I'm opening it in another tab. Here you can see it goes something like this. So this can have a vulnerability here. This is another one. ID equal to 1. Something like this. It should look something like this. Okay, this is next one. ID equal to 1. This is the URL. Okay, on such kind of URLs you can find this specific vulnerability, SQL injection vulnerability. Here ID equal to this, ID equal to 9 to 1. So here you will be able to find them. HTTP and THM, try it here, there, bro. Ma'am, where can I learn Python? HTTP and THM, uh, about Python, I'll have to look for good courses. And guys, we also provide all these sort of courses like ethical hacking courses, all cybersecurity courses like web application pen testing, Python, mobile application pen testing, CCNA, computer networking SSA. So if you guys are interested, you can also contact us for the courses. The number is already given in the description below. Also, you can register for our courses. The link is already in the description. Ma'am, add extra hour, the lab is going to be expired. Okay, it's already done. Bhagya, we have already completed it. Some, okay, so these are the real websites. Okay, you'll have to look for them on your own. Then you'll have to generate the error. If the error is there, okay, if you are able to generate the error, then you can proceed to the union based attack. But if you are not able to generate any kind of error, the site is not having any changes or is showing something like firewall or something, so you cannot do it. I In our paid courses we also teach how you can bypass the firewall and then do the SQL injection and stuff like that. Okay, we also teach how to bypass the firewall, but in YouTube, of course, I cannot teach everything to you guys. I have got really very limited options here. Okay, some remediations, what can be done? HTTP and THM. Okay, HTTP rooms are also there. We will be doing some soon port swigger labs. Okay, for the web application hacking part. Mhm. Okay, for the remediation part. What is remediation? The prevention part. How you can actually prevent the SQL injection vulnerability. So developers do have a way to protect their web application from them by following the advice below. Prepared statement with parameterized queries. What does it mean? The thing the developer write the SQL query and then any user input are added as parameter afterward. Okay, so means write prepared statement, already pre-prepared statement, SQL code structure doesn't change. And the date, like, means database should be able to distinguish between the actual query and the data that it has to provide. Like whatsoever user is inputting, it should not be able to take it. Also, input validation, like whatsoever I'm doing, the input validation can go a long way protecting what gets into SQL query. Employing an allow list means what we can actually ask for. We can restrict it input to only certain strings, like already there are some kind of pages that we want users to visit, so we can only put those URLs. So if someone is going other than that URL, it should show 404 or 403 or something like that. Or a string replacement method in the programming language can filter the characters. Okay, or filtering the characters like select union based. So many you will see in many actual websites there are firewall used which actually filter out those characters and do not let it go to the website. Escaping user input, allowing user input containing characters such as all this can SQL queries to break, or even worse, as we have learned, open them for injection attacks, escaping users. Okay, some characters like these can be used for breaking the SQL queries so that user input is not taken as the real input. Okay, this is one of it. So, like here you saw how it was in the backend. No, okay, this is how it looked in the backend, and private equal to something like this. So you can put some special characters over here so that whatsoever I input here will not be gone to the server side. I hope guys SQL injection is clear to you. How you can exploit it and how you can actually exploit it on the real websites as well is clear to you guys. If you have any doubts, any questions, you can contact us on the number that is given in the description below. Also, in the next class we will be doing SQL map. Okay, that is a very good automated tool for finding out the SQL injection. But of course, again, we'll have to use the labs for it. But if you really want me to show it to you on the real websites, for that you'll have to like contact us on the number given in the description below and enroll into our courses. It we provide the courses at very good and relevant prices and got a lot of content in it. Okay, so you can contact us, guys. See you tomorrow in the next class from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Any doubts, any question, let me know in the comments. Bye, guys. See you. Thank you so much for your likes. And do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Stay connected with us and learn a lot. Bye bye. You're most welcome.